What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
Yo, 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 it's Marcus or Pink. What's good?
What up? What up? It's Charles or Chuck, and my mouth is a little swollen because of tooth extraction, so please don't make me.
We got the behind the scenes
Eh.
bonus content already, Charles. Come on, we gotta save that for the Patreon.
I can't really hide it.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe no one would have noticed if you didn't say anything.
Dude,
Maybe
no way. There ain't
things
no way.
Honestly, I didn't notice this whole time. So
I know. I had to adjust your camera. Maybe a different angle, Charles. Speaking of a different angle, we're going to be approaching the Patreon showing at a different angle. I'm going to do it today. Guys, we got an amazing Patreon episode today. I'm very excited. I thought it should be a main topic for our show today, but it's so good. We're going to be talking about Shu is the name of a player or a name of a person in the Smash community who has created a results-based tier list, which we'll be reviewing and going over in the Patreon episode today. We know people love their tier list content. Actually, I think the results are very interesting. So if you want to check that out, check out the Tweek Talks Patreon, subscribe, and get a bonus episode today.
And it's based on by the player that carries the character or something like that, right? I believe is the premise of that tier list. Yeah.
Characters so most carried by their exactly.
Top representative.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's really, really neat. Like how top heavy. Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into that and break it down more on the Patreon. So go check that out. And with that, speaking of good characters, speaking of winning tournaments, we had a couple of great tournaments this week and this weekend.
Wait.
But before we do that, we got to talk. Go ahead, Charles. I'll throw it. Go ahead, man. I know you can't hold in the show.
Well, if you guys are enjoying the content, obviously, like Haz said, the best way to support us is through the Patreon. But of course, there's free ways to support us, like hitting the like button and just go ahead and utilizing that comment section. If you guys want us to talk about any specific bonus topics, we've seen a bunch of great ideas throughout the comments. But if you really want us and force us to talk about a bonus topic, there's a $15 tier on our Patreon. And of course, just make sure if you're on Spotify to rate the podcast as well. That helps us a ton. And of course, make sure to follow WTT events for Watch the Throne and keep up to date on everything Watch the Throne. That's a invitational that we are involved in. Tweek Talks heavily involved in that event. So if you guys want to keep up with the news, it's an invitational. And we just had 2 players qualify for it, DeBuzz and Mia, through SmashCon. They were the top 2 qualifiers that were not invitees. So very excited for Watch the Throne. And yeah, can't wait for Watch the Throne to come up. And now we can just get into some more recent results.
Yeah, we had Delfino Maza and Regen this weekend. I actually watched both tournaments pretty extensively. We had Lugi winning Regen and Spargo winning Delfino Maza. But yeah, there's a bunch to talk about within that.
Well,
which tournament you guys want to start with?
Yeah, I think it's easy to go around. Let's just say our favorite performance of the weekend. I think that's a good place to start. I'm not going to steal Gluto from you, even though. What's up, Marcus?
I was so shocked. That is not what I thought you were going to say.
I'm not going to steal Gluto. I think that's the go-to answer. My answer, obviously, Marcus, which I think is what you're expecting, is Icon. Yeah, obviously. My guy, Grand Finals winner side, or Grand Finals loser side, came through, took a set off of Luigi there in Grands, and then lost the reset 3-0. It is what it is in that matchup sometimes, Luigi against Shotos.
I knew he was looking so good, and then the reset started, and he got hit by triple fair and lost his jump, and I said, he's about to get 3-0'd. It was like the Luigi momentum is about to start, and it's so hard to get back once you lose it, because both characters are very momentum heavy, Ryu and Luigi, and Icon had a lot of it going into the reset. That quadruple fair happened. I said, never mind, see you.
That's it. Maybe running out of steam a little bit too, because his run was amazing. Orion, he 3-0'd Orion, and he beat Bloom. Ryu versus Bayo, I don't even know how there are not enough notes I can take on that, winning that matchup against such a phenomenal Bayo. I think it's interesting to point out too that Bloom failed to get top 8 of this tournament, which is, I think, very unexpected from all of us. Just kind of crazy. The Bayo actually losing to Icon and Flo, I believe, in loser. Or is Lancelot? I'm sorry, Lancelot.
Yeah, Lancelot.
Wow.
Was it a 30?
Yeah, it was 30.
I think I recall seeing that. It was a 30, yeah.
Was with the Roy. So, yeah, that was an interesting result. But obviously, Icon making it all the way to Grands was super cool to watch. It's been a minute since I've seen him play, period. So to see him do so well, was really cool stuff, especially in a lot of tough matchups against a lot of good players. So he did great. So shout out to my man Iken over at Regen. Just a fun tournament overall. Great commentary, great vibe as always. Going on the EU tournament, so especially in the UK, it's just good stuff. Who was your top performer this weekend, Marcus?
The entire weekend.
You can't steal Gluto from Gavin. It's not fair.
Yeah,
I hope he doesn't steal mine. I hope he doesn't steal mine.
I wasn't gonna say Gluto. That's a tough one. I should have been thinking. I was so interested in what you were saying. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Oh, thanks, man. I love Iken. I can talk about him all day. He's a great guy.
Making it work with Ryu.
Guy. Who did I really enjoy watching this weekend? Come back to me. See you.
Ooh, that means you can't steal mine. All right.
Nope.
Of course.
Go, Chuck, go.
Man, I love Wario. Gluto's my favorite. No, I'm
just nice. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's wild, by the way.
For me, it was definitely ShinyMark.
There you go. Easy answer.
Yes. I wanted to see ShinyMark
Marcus
a little bit better versus Spargo, but I mean, Spargo is so good, and that
coin box.
Spargo ended the set with fair finishing touch. That's tough as Pikachu. You know what I mean?
30%.
Yeah, 30%.
It looked like he was finally catching up in the matchup too, and then that happened.
No, yeah,
he was last.
Felt like the gears were turning.
Good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know the last time ShinyMark and Spargo played, it didn't look too hot either. But I think ShinyMark is still getting acclimated to a player of Spargo's caliber, really learning the matchup and stuff. You really just have to be able to get those offstage interactions, and even there are so many times where ShinyMark would go for side switches when he has limit too, right? So there's a lot of things to take to account, because even I know when Tweek talked about side switching, Limit Cloud is a very strong character against that. I'm not saying that ShinyMark lost because of it, but there's a lot of things to take into account versus Cloud. And I think ShinyMark, again, the gears were turning, and always watching ShinyMark improve and optimizing Pikachu, because Pikachu is just one of those characters where I've always had a lot of faith in Pikachu, but the results never really reflect it. But ShinyMark is my one last ray of hope for this character in the late game of Ultimate, really making things work with Pikachu.
Dude.
And it's always fun to see because it's such an execution heavy character, right? You always have to get all the drag downs precisely. You drop one little thing, you're really light. Obviously, you're extremely evasive, but things can go south real quick with Pikachu.
Yeah, dude, I think it's interesting because we always talk about late game meta characters, right? I think we all say that about Bayo and a couple other characters who their stocks have gone up. I feel like Pikachu's stocks have gone down. Would you say that he's more of an early meta character? And what would you really attribute that? I think the counterplay to Pikachu has people develop counterplay to that character so much that it hurt him that much, where he isn't as prevalent as he used to be. ESAM not attending as much either, or obviously quarantine happening and it kind of being a weird time skip as well. But I think SDI just hurts this character so much, and I think if you see this character in your path and you're ready to warm up for it, I used to think he was one of the best characters in the game, and I don't know, man. I'm not feeling that. I think he's still great, don't get me wrong, and a good gatekeep character for lower tiers. But damn, man, I don't know. Would you call him an early meta character at this point? How would you define him?
I think he was stronger earlier in the meta because SDI wasn't as developed and stuff like that. SDI is also a universal mechanic, so it's not like when you learn how to SDI against Pikachu, you don't learn how to SDI against everything else, right? Mm-hmm. You could learn how to SDI because of your local Luigi 0-to-deathing you and you've had enough, right? And then all of a sudden you can, you know what I mean? Or your local Ken or Ryu or what have you, right? There's a lot, or Bayo, or there's a lot of characters you learn how to SDI. So, and I mean, Pikachu is probably one of the most common SDI patterns, just straight left or straight right. So I do think Pikachu, and also the lack of DLC earlier on in the meta, Pikachu was just stronger. So yeah, I think Pikachu was better earlier on. And I think right now where we are in the current meta, simplicity is king. I just want the first couple hits. I just want to throw out my Game & Watch Nair. I just want to mine cart and kill you at 70, right? After getting hit into disadvantage after losing neutral. That's what you want right now, right?
Dude, I love the way you defined SDI. I've had enough. That's it. I know I'm going to start SDIing. That's it. I've died too many times too early.
When I learned how to learn how to SDI in Smash 4, that was my exact song.
You had enough, yeah.
And I literally SDI'd smart bombs for 3 hours straight until my hands burned. And I went to sleep. But yes, someone that never has beaten me in tournament beat me with pre-patch Bayo, and I was like, "There's no fucking way this is real." Yeah,
beat it.
Easily the character that has carried the hardest Smash 4 pre-patch Bayo.
Well, we'll find out in the Patreon episode, bro.
I have faith in Pikachu in being a late game character. I think ShinyMark style is really good, and I think it is a little tiring though, kind of like a Sonic or a Zero Suit defensive gameplay. I would say closer to like a Zero Suit, but with more like offensive capabilities. Um, but something we've talked about a little bit is like the whole like concept of like flipping that switch between like when you get a hit and when you're playing defensive. And I think ShinyMark possesses a lot of those capabilities of being able to really show off Pikachu being able to just flip that switch on and off between defense and offense. Like running the clock, but also hitting hard and getting the drag downs. And I think Pikachu is definitely capable of beating any character. Um, and I thought he played really well. I will say, I think Spargo is actually just fantastic against Pikachu in general.
Yeah.
There has never been a set of Spargo against Pikachu over the last couple of years where he didn't do really well, whether it was ShinyMark or Esam. I think he's just fantastic against that character. And Cloud is also, I would say, a lot better against Pikachu than you think in Smash for Wii U and in Smash Ultimate.
Oh yeah, that was one of your hot takes in Smash.
Yeah,
that is
I say
so
it.
crazy so that it's coming up now.
Yeah. I still feel the same way. But yeah, both players are fantastic.
Also, another side note is one of Spargo's first big wins was against Void's Pichu when Void was top 10 in the world.
Yep.
So like I
That's
know
a very
Pichu
good
and
point.
Pikachu are
Yeah.
pretty not super the same, but just I
There's
think
just a level of
he
comfort.
plays very well versus Rats, in my opinion.
There's a level of comfort you see that I don't think you always see when people play against the Rats, because they are very uncomfortable to play against. Like his speed like doesn't slow down. If anything, he like speeds up. So it's very interesting how he's pretty ruthless against those characters and really like exploits like the disjoints and like the character being light and everything. But yeah, my MVP was Gluto, no surprise.
Oh wait,
What?
hold on,
Wait.
Gluttony, right?
Yes,
The French dude?
What character?
He-
Yeah, French guy.
he
yeah.
glued his last Tony this weekend.
Dude.
So Gluto had to play against a lot of tough matchups, even earlier in the bracket than you would expect. It kind of started with Jazar's Dr. Mario. I actually think that matchup is really, really tough for Wario.
Dude, you guys don't know. Tweek is the #1 Dr. Mario hater. I've never heard so much slander about such a fun character.
So Diddy also has a gets matchup too. So
Oh my, not this.
It just kind of adds up.
Yeah, Dr. Mario's pretty fucking good, man. Holy shit.
Wario gets outboxed by Doc. He gets outzoned, and the stray hits hit way harder. So it's very, very tough. And Gluto clutched out a couple games that were like ridiculously close. Like one decision could have put Jazar up 2-0 or something like that. But he ended up winning that 3-0. And I don't know. He had a lot of those really tough matchups. He had to play against Ken Sonic in top 8. He had a really close 3-2 with ShinyMark. And the fact that he lost before top 8 in a close game 5 against Pikachu and then was able to go all the way to nearly resetting the bracket in grand finals, I think is really impressive as a solo Wario player. Because no one's really doing it but him with that character. And
bro.
Yeah, Gluto is also another player that's very good against Pikachu, I think, despite the matchup being pretty tough. And there's also tougher matchups for sure. Like he won a tougher matchup in Sonic 3-2 as well.
Yeah.
And he did 3-0 ShinyMark in the run back. But Gluto has had like insane success versus Esam in the past. So I think Gluto is just really a master of Wario and like a lot of the individual unique situations and matchups. And my #1 wish for Delfino Maza was to get a Spargo Gluto set, and that's what we got. I'm very happy about that. Because I actually think Wario Cloud is doable if you're really, really good. I actually don't see why you couldn't be able to win. It's not easy by any means, but seeing all the different matchups was amazing, and he's just an incredible player. I don't know how else to say it. He had a cool set with SkyJ. He beat ShinyMark in the 3-0, like in the 3-0 run back, like I said. He had a crazy comeback versus Ken. It might have been the craziest comeback we've seen, at least in recent memory. Like it was that crazy with the 3 stocks to 1 Wario Sonic, and he was able to clutch it out and then bring it to Game 5, and then had a pretty solid Game 5 victory. Also, he 3-0'd Leo, and something I want to mention about that set is Gluto's been winning against Leo pretty often. Like, he has like a bit of a win streak on Leo. And I think the scary thing about Gluto is if he gets a little too comfortable, he starts to become like almost unbeatable, I think. We've talked about friendlies Gluto in the past, like at Summit and stuff, where he kind of just beats up on everyone in the room. I think it's the same thing if he gets too many wins on you in bracket. He starts to get a little too comfortable, and you can even tell in the player cam and everything that he's really not second guessing anything, and he's just going to win. And I think that's starting to happen with his head-to-head with Leo. So I think Leo's going to have to really dig deep and do something surprising, which I think he's 100% capable of, by the way. He does that a lot. To be able to put the fear back in Gluto, or like show him that it's not going to be easy. But I think when Gluto gets too many wins in a row on anyone, it starts to become unreasonably difficult. But yeah, great job to him. He was very close to resetting the bracket. I'm very confident that he could have won the whole thing if he did. But that's just Spargo. He had a lot of close calls, and he never really dropped to loser's bracket. So I think Spargo getting that W after having a rough Smash Con's a big confidence booster too. So we had like a couple days of Spargo not being in our nightmares, but now he's back. So
yep, just like you said last episode, don't count him out. Like,
yeah, I did say I did had that whole like speech about that. Yeah, the next tournament. So
yeah, dude, Marcus, you've had plenty of time now. Who's your number one performer?
Oh man, I thought we were gonna skip it. Like Gavin really started.
Nope.
Gavin was yapping. I was like, oh, it's lit.
He's going off, bro.
I'm
sorry.
Oh, don't apologize, bro. The one thing I'll say about your analysis, Gavin, you did not talk about that Ken set enough. That was maybe the best comeback I've ever watched live in Smash history. Literally impossible. Literally impossible. What were the odds on that?
He was laughing to like he couldn't even like really comprehend what just happened. Like like,
and you knew. Dude, you knew it was going to be a wash game 5. You knew it was over. There was no way he was going to win that game 4. Oh, yeah.
All those moments, like barely losing to get into qualify for top 8, and then like beating Leo, but then barely beating Ken with the crazy comeback. Like, he just held it to, like, every set was a fresh start for him, and I really respect that. And he was able to like just keep winning. Like, it wasn't like he just got a crazy fluke comeback or something. Like, he made it all the way to grand finals and nearly reset that bracket. So, and like as a Wario player myself for many years, like you really have to like get into like a mode and a flow, and like every set you have to be really ready for something different, and like you have to have so much patience, and like I just really respect, like, you know, he played a lot of losing matchups. So
dude, he's a marathon man too.
Sonic,
Sonic played so many long sets, so many long and hard sets, which is bound to happen sometimes. Like you said, some of the matchups is Wario. Like, you're just kind of chilling, waiting for Waff to show up because that's a great part of the matchup. But it's just like, dude, he played so many long sets and getting the run back on ShinyMark. The only regret I have about Delfino Maza, because I'm very happy that Spargo won. Obviously, like, that's great. Especially given the tweet that I had right before SmashCon that blew up my face. So I'm very happy about that. But Gluto, I wanted a second set. That's the only thing that I wanted was a second set. Because, dude, I just didn't want the tournament. It was one of those tournaments. I'm like, I want this tournament to end. It was so much fun. Marcus, if you don't have a top performer, I have like 4 more that I could go off on.
Oh, no. I have one. I just...
Come on now.
I was joking. It's Tarik. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good answer. Good answer.
Bro. Another one of those, like, situations where somebody... Well, he actually lost extremely early.
Looking at like a super bracket crazy. Even he had so many wins. So
yeah, he had a crazy losers run. He beat like almost all of Europe. It was insane. Like all the good players, like Space. He beat Lancelot. He beat Flo. He beat Orion. Yeah, I was like, bro, like, is this ever gonna stop? Like, and then when he played Pele, I was like, all right, it's time to stop. And then he beat Pele, and I was like, all right, it's actually time to stop because I need my man Icon to get a dub. But but it was just really enjoyable. And I just recently was hanging out with him a bit because he stopped by at Xanadu for the pre-local before SmashCon. And it was just really cool, like chilling and hanging with him. And he did the same thing as Xanadu. Well, I guess he didn't lose that early, but he lost pretty early and still made it back to Grands. And here he lost pretty early, so he makes some long losers runs. He said something like, somebody asked like, oh, how does he always make like longer losers runs? He's like, yeah, I just don't get tired. Like, huh? That's
True.
crazy.
Just
Like,
win.
some people like that though. Like I was
Yeah.
watching Gluto play. I was like, he should be tired by now. Like these have been some long sets. Some very, very, very
That's what I was
long
trying
sets.
to get at with Wario. It's a very specific thing where like you really have to be strapped in for every best of 5 you play. Like you have to be very prepared, like in advance and all that stuff. So I'm not surprised because like, you know, the practice and the note taking, I really think like can really assist with that. And like if you've been playing Wario your whole life, I feel like your stamina is gonna be like pretty good. Yeah.
So that's my pick.
Other notable players, SkyJ, 4th place. Great run. Amazing run.
Household name at this point, which
Beat
is
Leo for the
crazy
first time?
because Incineroar
Is that his first time beating Leo?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. I guess I just
3-0.
assumed he had at some point.
We haven't
Yeah,
even
that was
talked about that one.
convincing.
That really set the tone for the whole tournament, I would think so.
Yeah.
It
Sparkle
made
won.
me really worried about like it kind of made me put more eggs in the Gluto basket because the whole idea of like if all these players lose, like Spargo is gonna kind of just like
Well, I mean,
really take advantage of that and win. Because once again, like
Come
it seems like ShinyMark isn't like fully ready to like beat Spargo or something.
I think
SkyJ
Leo has a better chance of beating
What?
Spargo than ShinyMark does.
What about
Like,
Sinsky? Come on.
yeah, that
Come
was my
on.
thought process, but like it didn't necessarily go like that. But I don't know. I've just been to so many tournaments that sometimes like you can see like there's a player that might cruise by.
Yeah.
But it didn't necessarily happen. Siski, I guess it's not even rude to say Siski should have won that set.
Dude, I can't believe he didn't, is how I feel about it.
It was one of those situations where I wasn't like I was standing up watching and like as it finished I just ran out of my room back here. Like I just ran. I just didn't know
Like
what to
K9
do.
Rage style, like you just ran
I
out of the
wasn't
room.
raging. It was just like I didn't know how to deal with what I just saw. Like I just left. Like I just ran away. Like it was
I'm
so,
out,
like,
yeah.
it was so like uncomfortable. Like the kill screens and like it's just you know how it is.
It was a lot, yeah.
It honestly raises the question: does Spargo kind of struggle against Samus as a character in general? I feel like there's multiple Samuses that have either taken a W on him or have taken him really close, and I'm just really curious in terms of just the matchup. I'm not too sure. Maybe Cloud just gives Samus too much room to work with or something like that. I don't really know the details. All I know is there's Samus players do pretty well against Spargo.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
You know what character we're not saying this about? Link. Anyway, see ya.
True. Wait, I'm gonna say when it comes to Samus,
oh no,
I don't care who you are. I don't think any of us actually know the Samus matchup. I think we are just.
And everyone knows the Link matchup, and that's why.
Who is the best? Who's the best player against? Who do you think is the best player against Samus? Period.
I think we are all like when we're in the game, we're acting like we know what we're doing. None of us know what we're doing versus Samus, and someone out there, please help us, please, because we have no idea what to do.
Someone,
like literally, I can't think of a player that's like super good versus Samus because like low key we're all just like acting like we know what we're doing. We have no idea. Same low key, same thing with Link. He's just not as good. When I fight Link, I'm just like kind of like playing and acting like I don't know what I'm doing.
It's worse against Link, I think, because he's weird. Dude, there was a good Link there who almost beat ShinyMark, by the way, game 5. Shout out to Bernie. Great set. Very, very, very good set.
I saw a set
Saturday. It was a good set, Marcus. What the heck?
Smash Factor. Bernie had a really close set with someone at Smash Factor as well.
Dude, what a tag.
He's a good Link. Bernie.
Dude, Bernie was tearing it up on that Link, bro.
Yeah, he was.
Feel the burn, baby.
Feel the burn. Burns, ma.
But yeah, I can't like Samus is just ridiculous. Like we need help because this character is here to stay, and I need to figure something out because I'm sick of acting like I know what I'm doing because I don't know.
We are under attack.
Yeah,
I'll put up the white flag. I think I'll give it up. I'll give it up to Samus.
I'm sick of faking this. Help someone.
I think it's been Samus forever, Charles. This is the first day we asked that
question.
Yes.
Okay. How much more do you want from me, Haz? All right.
How many wins on Spargo does Link have? All right, L. There you go.
All right, next set. Next time I get a chance.
You know what's fucking wild? I do want to talk a little bit more about Samus in a sense of like people are bringing out pocket Samus in tournament. We saw that at SmashCon. Like
rough flow, right?
Yeah. It is crazy.
I don't know if it's a pocket for
it's like a co-main, but
it's not it's not like poly.
Co-main,
he's a
pocket,
he's a power,
yeah. But the uptick in Samus in general, like it's not even just one Samus getting a lot of placements either. Like Samus in multiple countries is getting great placements. We're seeing co-main / pocket Samuses as well. So this character is here to stay in the meta. And I think we saw this, the first time we saw this was at Let's Make Big Moves. It was like a couple years ago. It was like the Samus / Roy top 8 for Let's Make Big Moves, if you guys remember that. And that was like the first uptick in this character and has kind of stuck around the whole time. So
Samus has reps is what I'll say. A lot of good players play that character, and kind of one of the other cores we're talking about is her game plan is simple and very effective. Very, very effective. Like
Game & Watch vibes.
Very good. Yeah. Well,
bring out the frying pan.
Hold up.
That too.
I mean, not as
it's
good,
up there.
not as simple.
It's up there. It's
not as crazy as Game & Watch.
All right,
I think it's.
I think Game Watch is the number one. Is the only thing, but that is interesting.
Bro,
you said that.
Samus is it, bro. I'm watching them play. Dash back forward, press B, jump forward air, grab or shoot or hold shield up B. That's neutral, and then you hit them on the ledge, and then you press down B, and then it does it for you. And wow.
Well, I feel like Samus players are just naturally good at ledge trapping. I feel like they're good.
My bad.
Like,
they lab it, spend a lot of time. Like Belmont players, right? It's the same thing.
Or like Fox doing like upper to upper to upper. You got to lab that stuff. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, guys.
Yep. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I thought that Siski was gonna win that set when he did the B reverse shot when Spargo had to recover underneath Pokemon Stadium. Do you remember that moment in their set where Spargo wall jumped and Siski, instead of being like, I think he was dead too. I wasn't sure, and I don't think Siski was either. So he's like, "Fuck it, we ball," and just turned around and just shot him. Like it was so sick. I was like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever seen a Samus do." I was like, he might win the set if he's playing that cool and that confident with this character. I think she's kind of hard to make look cool, honestly, especially in a tournament setting, like unless you're going for clips. But he made it look good, I gotta say. But yeah, Samus.
Do we know like
his
decision making behind like when he's gonna use Samus or Dark Samus?
Well, he used to exclusively use Dark Samus, but I think he's finally starting to realize. I think Samus is better. Having a hurtbox shift on your double jump is so important, in my opinion. I will say there's certain matchups where the main thing with Dark Samus is that Dark Samus's charge shot hits lower. So I think it depends on how good the character's ledge hang is. If the ledge hang on the character is good enough to avoid Dark Samus's charge shot, then you might as well just play Samus, right? Because you get a better defense. And there's other differences.
I know aesthetically their dash attack looks different. Is it actually different gameplay wise at all, or not really?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I always think of the Spider-Man double jump, man. It looks cooler though, is what I have to say.
It is really cool.
It is cool.
You hurtbox shift, you turn into like a Sonic spin dash size ball, you know what I mean? Like, that's really good.
It is good. Well, and I gotta say, another player of the week, Gavin W. You went to a weekly.
Oh, thank you.
I hate to say it, you lost to Steve. All right, it happens. Syrup's a good Steve, though. It happens. But the thing I enjoyed about your play is you stayed in the bracket, you kept going, and then you won the whole bracket, which was great. It was really good to see. So you want to talk about your journey at a weekly that's like pretty easy for you to get to, right?
Yeah, it was the 100th one. It's close by. I was actually hoping to play against stuff like Steve because it's something I just don't have enough experience against. Like, I've probably fought against Steve in like 10 sets or less in tournament, which is not good. Like, I feel like if you're going to go to your locals, like, you're going to have local Steve players to play with. So,
unless your region bans them.
Yeah. That's true. But I did get 3 sets in with Steve. So I feel like that was like the best thing I could ask for. And I even got like 2 with Diddy, 1 with Sephiroth. Like it felt really well balanced. And I also had a good time. A lot of players came out. We had a South Jersey versus North Jersey crew battle, and South Jersey won, which is where I'm from. So shouts to Noodle, a local Donkey Kong player that took 7 stocks, and he's also like,
holy shit.
Probably
DK is so sick. I'm gonna watch that.
He's probably the coolest DK player I've ever seen in Ultimate. He's like one of my He's one of my new favorite players, like in general.
Dang, cooler than your Donkey Kong. That's
it definitely is. It definitely
wow.
is.
Noodle, you should take that as a compliment.
Yeah, and Gavin's DK is efficient, I would say.
Gavin's lying. Like, what the heck?
I genuinely feel this way. Like, I'm a big fan.
It was
he
the
did
first
crazy stuff. He plays really fast, really creative, but he still does like what needs to be done to win too. So, yeah, I had a good time. I played against Jackal in a couple sets. I played against Syrup in a couple sets. I played against AK Fires as Steve. I played against Web JP's Sheik. I played against Vince's Roy. So I got a lot of good experience versus a lot of good players. So it's something I definitely need to do more often, just to be in tournament mode more often, especially when I'm traveling. So
playing offline is a big deal too. Obviously, like a lot of good players still just play on Wi-Fi nowadays, but I think if you have the opportunity to get some offline experience to mix in with the Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi, there's the convenience, and then you want to sprinkle in some offline when you have the time, obviously, right? It depends on how much you're traveling as well, right? Like you're probably not going to be able to go out to your locals when you're traveling like back-to-back weeks or something like that. But
yeah,
keeping it in the rotation is always a good thing, and supporting your locals. I mean, that's how the Smash scene was created. Everyone was from all the different local scenes coming together, so. Support your locals. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's true. Also, shout outs. Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead. No.
So, okay, you said you want to go to more locals and stuff, right? And I remember we talked about it afterward. Oh, y'all get some insider info. Ooh. We talked about afterward how you went to the tournament and you saw Jackal play against Steve, and how it was kind of inspiring because he just kind of treats it like it's any other character in the game, and it's not like special, and like he makes a bunch of comebacks. Do you think that you're probably going to potentially go to more locals so you can get that comfortability, like with Steve specifically? Or are there other characters you have in mind?
Yeah, to like, I guess expand on that. Like when I was watching Jackal versus Syrup, and Syrup has beaten Jackal like a few times in this matchup, but it's not even about winning or losing. It's just the way Jackal was playing felt like this is a character in the game, and I'm not like uncomfortable. Like I have a game plan. Like for me, when I'm fighting against Steve, sometimes it's very like chaotic, and I'm like scared and not really sure what's gonna happen. So I just want to like, my vision is if I play against it enough that it'll naturally get to that point, and it's not even about what character I'm playing or who I'm up against specifically. So it was inspiring just because Jackal is someone that shows up week to week and really gets the like clocks in and gets a lot of games in. So yeah, it is mostly for Steve, but there is also a general like when I'm like going to locals, it feels like I'm in a mode when I'm playing Smash that I'm not always in when it's time to travel to a big important tournament. Like where I don't know if I want to call it like a fight or flight type of feeling, but maybe like kind of something like that where I'm just ready to go at any moment, and like last hit situations feel a little more easier to handle, or like a game 5 situation is easier to handle. And I'm just hoping like when it comes to like specific things I want to work on, but also like in a general like tournament prep, like if I attend more often, that I'll just feel a bit more like, I don't know, like, ready to go at any moment.
Yeah, I think all of that stuff really matters. And I think even the point of like, one, just getting more sets in against Steve really matters, and then just seeing how your peers approach certain matchups with different characters. And I feel like, especially when you watch Jackal play, you can relate a lot because you used to play a lot of Wolf in tournament. So if he deals with the scenario a little bit more differently than you would have with Wolf, you automatically can kind of see the comparison and be like, oh, okay, and you can almost instantly get something out of that strategy wise. So yeah, I think it's fantastic for you. And I mean, adapting to this new meta for a lot of the players, even just the previously ranked players, it's been difficult, right? The newcomers have definitely risen up, and I feel like right now all the old school players are still kind of getting their grasp in terms of like really learning what this Fighter Pass 2 meta is becoming, because there's like the initial wave of like, oh shit, we need to like learn how to play against this character that makes fucking blocks. Like, that's weird. Like, literally makes platforms. So I feel like the level 1, everyone has gotten better at the level 1 counterplay of, okay, blocks, anvil, just a regular jump minecart, a double jump minecart. But now it's getting to the point where it's getting a little bit more advanced, right? The Steve players are getting a little bit more calculated and just knowing how to manage their resources, different block formations, even like knowing what stages to ban so they have different types of block materials and stuff like that. It's definitely getting a little deeper.
Yeah. Like, there's so many times where I fought Steve in bracket where there'll be like a bit of dead air or something, and I'll like think to myself that I'm doing something wrong, and I like make a weird decision just because like of the uncomfortability and fear. And like when I'm watching a lot of other people fight Steve, especially players that like go to their locals and like play against Steve often, it feels like there's a lack of that dead air where their decision making looks a lot more deliberate, and like it looks like they have a better understanding of what's going on, like genuinely. So that's what I'm looking for. It's not even about like what character to go or like, specific counterplay to things. I just want to like feel like that Steve, like fighting Steve, has meshed well into like the rest of the game and like what I'm comfortable against, because like it really hasn't gotten to that point. And I really think that's on me because I've probably had opportunities to play against him more in tournament, and I just haven't really taken them. So I'm definitely just trying to get the reps in, and that's why I was glad to get as many as I did, because getting 3 sets in one bracket out of local is really solid, and especially with both characters. So
hell yeah, man. I think we want to do one last around the horn here, guys.
Yeah,
I think we've been at it for a minute here. So why don't you start at Charles?
Ooh.
Damn.
No, I knew that would get you. I knew that would get you. I'm on the spot, Chuck. Come on. Just chill if you don't know what else to do. Watch the throne, baby.
Very excited for Watch the Throne, obviously. So make sure to check it out on Twitter, WTT events on Twitter. But yeah, I think this weekend had a lot of great events. And again, shout outs to ShinyMark doing it big with Pikachu. I want to be a believer of some of these characters.
I'm a believer. I think he's fantastic.
I still put Pikachu in my top 5. I still do. All right. So I still believe in the character, and like characters like Pikachu, Sheik, Diddy, I still have faith in them. I still have faith that some of these a little bit more complex, you have to put in a little bit more effort, aka a lot more effort than some of these other characters can pan out, because you have a lot more options, and you're going to have more of a toolbox when it comes to all these different variables and all these different situations. So that's the meta I want to believe in, and Peach is another character, right? This is the meta that I want to watch, I want to see. But we'll see if all of these all the players on the battlefield, I fucking salute you. All right. I'm not out there. I'm not on the battlefield no more, but I appreciate all the players that are out there trying to make characters like that work, because holy fucking shit, I don't think I have the mental stability to do that. So I salute any player that does that, and shout outs to you guys, because you make the game very enjoyable for me to watch.
The mental stability.
I'm just keeping it a buck, man.
The man's own words. Yeah, Charles is nothing if not brutally honest. True. All right, Chuck, toss it to someone.
And Pink.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for Smash, man. Both top 8s were really enjoyable to watch. There's been a lot of top 8s recently where I am gigabedge. I'm sleep. Like, ain't no way I'm watching this. I'm good. I'm taking naps during sets. Like, I wake back up like, oh, an interesting set. Like, or I wake back up like, you know what? Never mind. I'm good. So enjoyable Smash this weekend. I'm glad to see Spargo get another dub. Luigi getting a big dub. That was cool as well.
Yeah.
Bro, have y'all actually watched that dude play?
Yeah.
The extensions that bro gets on Luigi, I'm sitting there like, where did you even come up with this? Like, what in the world? I don't know. It's really enjoyable to watch them play when they aren't trying to grab, and like they hit you with like a straight up air at like 2, and then suddenly you're dead. Like, it's gigalit. But yeah, it was a great tournament to watch. Also, shout outs to, as we said, ShinyMark had a really good bro was hitting everything. Like, I thought bro was about to win the tournament.
I think he got a little gassed out.
Yeah, he was hitting
yeah.
everything. And he also may have potentially, I don't know if this is true, but he began cooked in coin box. So that might have been going through his head when he was like about to play, like, oh man, this sucks. I gotta play Spargo. Like, I wanted this, but did I really want this? Like, because I saw him like laughing and smiling during the set, which he wasn't during any other set, and I was like, ooh, that's a bad sign. But all good, all good. And yeah, we'll send it to good old hazardous Matthew, who's looking away. My bad, maybe not.
No, I'm good. I was pulling up my notes because I wasn't. So I wanted to give a shout out. MK Leo is who I want to shout out. I think he's been an incredible number one player for us for such a long time, and I know he's going to be taking a break. I think that he has given the most fucks in this community for about 8 years straight about being number one, about being the number one player, and I'm really happy to see him have a balanced lifestyle and have a balanced way he's approaching life, because he's like, well, this is my last tournament until October. I'm moving to a new place. I'm going to focus on my health and my content. And I love that because I think that's so important. And I think my favorite thing about Smash is how it's a vehicle in which you can grow and become a better person through. And I think Leo is like such a great prime example of that. And I'm really happy to see him. I know he's getting dumped on Twitter and he's reading all this shit about, himself and his life and like whatever. I'm glad he's like, you know what though? Like, what else does he have left? What does he have left to prove? And I'm glad he's taking that and saying, I'm doing this. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know what I'm about. I'm taking my time off, and I'll see you guys in October. I got shit to take care of. So my hat's off to Leo for getting a top 8, which is great. And he lost to Gluto and SkyJ. Like, okay, that's whatever at this point. Ultimate, it is what it is. But just happy. I'm happy for him. Truly, I think Leo is just a phenomenal human. I think we're lucky to have him as the number one player for so long, and I'm excited to see what he does when he comes back. So yeah.
All
right, Gavin.
Thank you for that.
We love you, Leo.
Yeah. He's a go, man. He really is. I don't think people appreciate him enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome. He's awesome.
The best
anyway,
face and ultimate we could have ever had. So, for all these years. So, yeah. For me, I guess I'm not going to shine this weekend. I planned on it. I really wanted to.
Wow.
Sorry about that. My trip to Terra, which is going to be in France, is going to be very soon after Shine, so I'm not going to be able to make it to both, but I will be going to a tournament, not this weekend, but the next. Wait, is that what that is? I'm looking at the dates. Okay, I think I'm right. Sorry,
bro, already missed his flight. Like what?
Sorry.
You're supposed to be in Europe already. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Lundi. We go Lundi.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to really put the hours in because I feel like lately I haven't been. I guess I should give myself some credit because I kind of started dealing with tendonitis and starting physical therapy and everything. But I have been working a bit harder on Smash, and I'm hoping it pays off. And I'm looking forward to. I've never been to Europe, let alone France, so I'm looking forward to trying new things, meeting new people, and just taking advantage of the opportunity. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I guess that about wraps it up. We are going to get into the bonus content, which will be about character results tier list and also which character is carried the hardest by individual reps. So thank you so much for watching.
See you.
Bye.